Hi, I'm Jerry James Stone, and in today's video we're going to talk about canned goods, specifically the essential items you need for your pantry and what their food storage times are. Let's get to it. Okay, so before I get started, one little thing. If you open up a can of whatever and it smells off, it tastes off, or it doesn't look good, just use common sense and toss that thing out. So what I'm about to share with you are just sort of general standard storage times, but use your common sense. Please don't eat anything that you may think is bad, but because I told you it would last for a few years. That's really, really important. And also just store everything properly. I'm talking about everything being stored properly in the list I'm about to give you. So that means storing stuff in a dry, cool place, that sort of thing. Make sure it's properly stored. Don't store your canned goods above the stove where they're exposed to heat, or next to the stove where they're exposed to heat. You really want to store them in a place that is dry and cool. It's just really important for keeping them for the long run. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're gonna start off with canned veggies, specifically tomatoes. Canned tomatoes, whether they're whole tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, any form of canned tomato except for tomato soup, here's the storage time. Canned tomatoes, ones I just listed, they'll last a couple years unopened. Once you open it, it's gonna last about a week in the fridge, but if you freeze it, it'll last actually up to 3 months in the freezer. So that's canned tomatoes. Once again, not tomato soup, just everything else. So the next items I'm about to mention will last up to 5 years unopened in your pantry, but once you open them, it's 4 days in the fridge and then 2 months if you decide to freeze them. For that list, it's canned corn, canned green beans, and canned peas. Okay, so now we're moving on to fruits. The next 4 items that I'm about to list have like the same storage time. So basically it is 2 years unopened, 1 week once you open it if you put it in the fridge, and then about 2 months if you freeze it. And that goes for canned fruit cocktail, canned peaches, canned pears, and canned pineapple. Last thing on our fruit list is coconut milk. So coconut milk will last about 5 years unopened in the pantry. Once you open it, about a week in the fridge. And if you want to make it last longer, it'll actually last up to 3 months in the freezer. Okay, so now we're moving on to broths. So just basic general broth, whatever broth you have from vegetable to chicken, it'll last about 5 years unopened in the pantry. Once you open it up, just about 5 days in the fridge. But if you put it in the freezer, it'll last about 6 months. Next on our list in the broth and soup department is canned mushroom soup. So unopened, this will last in the pantry for about 5 years. Once you open it and put it in the fridge, just about 4 days. But if you actually put it in the freezer, it'll last about 6 months. And coming back to that tomato soup I talked about before, here's why it's different. So tomato soup, canned tomato soup will last 2 years in the pantry. Once you open it up, it'll last about 4 days in the fridge, but if you freeze it, you can actually make it last for another 6 months. And now on to beans. I'm talking black beans, navy beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans, all of the beans. So canned beans will last about 5 years unopened in the pantry. Once you open that can up, about 4 days in the refrigerator, and then if you want to make it last a little bit longer, you can put them in the freezer and they'll last up to a couple months opened after that. And lastly, some of our holiday favorites, canned cranberry sauce. If you have it in your pantry, it'll last about 2 years in the pantry. Once you open it, it actually will last up to 2 weeks in the fridge. Or if you decide to freeze it, it'll last 2 months in the freezer. And last but not least, pumpkin puree. This is, you need it for pumpkin spice lattes or pumpkin pies or whatever you want to use pumpkin for. It will last about 5 years unopened in the pantry. Once you open it up, it'll last about a week in the refrigerator. But if you freeze it, it'll last another 3 months. So those are the essential items for stocking up your pantry when it comes to canned goods. As I mentioned, use common sense here. If you open up something and it smells off or it looks off or it tastes off, like when in doubt, toss it out, right? Do not consume those goods. They should be stored properly to reach these storage times. That means don't store them next to heat. Don't store your cans above the stove or next to the stove. They need to be stored in a cool, dark place. And if you do that properly, you'll be able to have these things last for a really long time. If you like this video, hey, give me a thumbs up. If there's something you want to see, drop a comment below. If you like to cook like I do, I release new videos every week, so please subscribe. See you guys. Okay, so we're moving on to fruits now, canned fruits. So these next 4 items that I'm about to list, how can I say that word? List, not listen. Okay, one more time. Okay, so we're moving on to fruits now. So canned fruits. So these next 4 items that I'm listing, so close.